Okay, first and foremost, I want to give all honors and praises and glory belongeth to my Lord and Savior, whose name is Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Waharakah Kodash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and his Son's name is Yahawashi. And double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that teaches truth well and that continue to teach us truth well. And to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few brothers and sisters listening and also learning across the globe. This lesson, I had a bit of a difficult time of what I was going to name it. Okay, but I came up with the name, and it's basically how the hopeful elect, they stand out. There's gonna be times where you may even try to blend in, because the scriptures talk about being Clark Kent mode. It's not that you're ashamed, but you may try to blend in. Because that's Clark Kent mode. You're using wisdom up. As much as you may try to blend in, that's not going to work if you're of the hopeful elect, because you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. People are just gonna notice you. They're gonna notice there's something different about you. Okay? But that's really not. The basis of this lesson was basically also, it's like a joint lesson. When we first wake up to this truth, what are we? Well, followers. We have those that are over us. But did you just come into the truth just to be a follower? Just to be a parrot? No. Anything you do, you don't become a follower forever. You also want to become a leader. Because Yahushua, what he's raising up is leaders, not just followers. Yeah, we're sheep, but a follower gets built up. That's why it tells you in Peter's what? That we're weaned off the milk. A baby's not on the milk forever, and a baby don't stay a baby forever. A baby grows. Okay? So I want to, Lord willing this to be edified, I want to go into Matthew 6 and 13. Enter ye into the strait gate. And that word for straight is difficult. Straits, adversity. Okay? And that gate is a path. And if it's a straight gate, it's a narrow gate. One man can go in at a time. It tells you that in the Apocrypha, which I ain't got the Apocrypha with me right now. Only one man can go in at a time. One man. Okay? And broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many people are going in that broad way. Because the broad way doesn't require any discipline. The broad way doesn't require any moral code. So everybody's in the broad way. Most people are in the broad way, not everybody. Most. That leadeth to destruction, and many there be that follow it, that go in thereat. So it lets you know the majority of this world, they're in the broad gate. Different religions, different lifestyles. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way. So it's letting us, Yahushua is letting us know, straight is going to be the gate and narrow is the way. Difficult path which leadeth unto life. That's the only way. You come up any other way, you're a thief, you're a murderer. Okay? You're trying to come up some next way. And the few there be that find it. So there's going to be a few. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening more. So that's another thing you got to be aware of. That's why the scriptures tell you in Ecclesiastes 4 and 22. Basically, this is the Apocrypha, but I've got it written on this tablet. So let's quickly go to Ecclesiastes 4 and 22. There's types. See, as a leader, you have to make hard decisions. There's many decisions you're going to have to make in this truth. It's going to get to that point. And if you ain't done that now, it's going to be more difficult. So there's decisions that also have to be made. Because another man can't make your decisions for you. Okay? You have to grow. You have to grow in this truth. You may ask a brother, what should I do about this and that? Because the scriptures talk about counsel. But there's times where brothers ain't always going to be around you. And when you get to a certain level of this truth, you've been in for a particular time, then Yahweh gives you the spirit and gives you the wisdom to be able to make these hard decisions. Ecclesiastes 4 and 22. Accept no person against thy soul. You can't just accept anybody in this truth. You can't just accept anybody. What if they're teaching another doctrine? Just an example, I'm just throwing this out there. What if you have a leader that's teaching a different doctrine? What if you got a leader that's not even a leader, anybody could be, but I'm using an example. What if you got a leader that's sold out? Are you still going to accept him? So the scripture says, accept no person against thy soul. Because when you do that, guess what you're doing? You can cast your own self down by doing that. Got to be decisive. And let not the reverence of any man. See, with that high reverence, okay, can cause you to fall. Let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall, because that's what can happen. Okay? Because you reverence someone so much, that can cause you to fall. Especially if you're reverencing to the point where you're idolizing. Because I've seen guys that come in the truth and do that. They idolize a man, but what if this man falls out or he's wicked? You go and follow him, because that can cause you to fall. Because you, in your mind, you built up this individual. Oh, he's so great. That's why the scriptures are written. And in no way am I trying to push out of a spirit of what's the word? There's a word for it. A renegade spirit. Because see, there's a difference between being a renegade. Because a renegade don't take correction, just wants to do his own thing, can't be told anything. That's a renegade. And there's a difference between being a leader and working at your own salvation by this in what balance. Okay? Because you can even be in a camp. But the majority of the camp could be lukewarm. So if the majority of a camp's lukewarm, that spirit can rub off on you and have you in a effed up spirit, excuse my language. Have you in an effed up spirit. That's why you don't accept no person to thy soul. No person at all. Oh man. Give me just a minute. Get this in the right order. So let's go to Jeremiah 7 and 2, because this is very important. Very important. Something I found. Okay. This is Jeremiah 7 and 2. Bear me just a minute. Okay. I don't want to make this lesson too long as well, because I would like to have a little workout, you know, because that's another part of this truth as well. How could you actually be sufficient in this truth if your body's all jacked up? So again, working out, everything's balanced in this truth. Okay, you can't teach this truth if your health's all jacked up. Let's go to Jeremiah 17, and I want to go straight to 19. Actually, let's start at 17. Be not a terror unto me, thou art my hope in the day of evil. So again, to Jeremiah speaking, we don't want Yahushua to be a terror unto us, and he's our hope in the day of evil. What the bad times, Jacob's trouble. Let them be confounded that persecute me. So this is what Jeremiah was praying to Yahushua. And this is going to happen as well. As time goes on, things are going to happen. People are going to have bad things to say. But let not me be confounded. This is a prayer. Let them be dismayed, surprised, but let me not be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil, and destroy them with a double destruction. Here's the point. Thus said the Lord Yahushua unto me, go and stand in the gate of the children of the people. This was told unto Jeremiah. To stand in that gate where the kings and judges were. So the prophets were always over the kings. Okay? They had a job to do. They couldn't be emotional. Of the children of the people, where the kings of Judah come in, and by which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and say unto them, hear the word of the Lord Yahushua. So again, you can't be in a spirit of fearing man. You got to speak. You see something's up, you got to speak on it. Ye kings of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. Okay? So that's what was commanded unto what Jeremiah? To reprove. Okay? You can't be, oh no, I'm scared to tell him. No. That's the part of this truth as well. No matter how much years, because an individual may say, well, How much years you been in the truth? Only a little time. That don't matter. Because if you're of the elect, you're set over what the kingdoms. So if you're set over the kingdoms, you're also set over what the kings. Because you have what? You have Israelites that have also that have a place in this kingdom. So you're set over them. So we can't be in that spirit of wanting to be partial. I can't say that. See, that's the thing of a leader. Jeremiah was being taught leadership skills. He was told to stand in the gate and speak unto the kings. And when you go further down, it will talk about the Sabbath. Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath, which is work day, nor bringing in by the gates of Jerusalem. Okay, not selling, not buying anything, neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day. Neither do you any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear, nor receive instruction. Okay? So this is what Jeremiah was appointed to do. And guess what? He was a young man. So you can't be in that spirit of, well, no, he's see, there's a balance to everything. But I want to say this, you have young men that are very, 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 very inexperienced. And you have young men in this truth that through a short period of time they've been in the truth, they've gained a lot of experience. Because Yahushua can do that. He can do that. So you don't want to be in that spirit of you being in the truth for a very, very long time. And no disrespect to all, because you respect those that have been longer than you. Rightfully so. But you don't want to count brothers out that may have been in for a little time, but they have eyesight. They have higher levels of discernment because they've been through things. But if you're carnal, if you're proud, that's why the high seats ain't good. Scriptures tell you about that. Don't take the high seat. Because it blinds you and it corrupts you. And this world is full of corruption. When you're low, okay, you're in a better position to judge. When you're lowly, okay, you're definitely not partial because you're not up there. You're not rubbing shoulders with the rich and all the proud. So when you're lowly, you have a better sight. You have better discernment. You have better judgment. Because you're low. When you're up there, you become corrupted. You start having this nonchalant, lackadaisical mentality when it comes to particular matters. Read the book of, I think it's Samuel. It tells you about the sons of Samuel. How they became corrupted. These things matter. These things, you don't just deal with it another time. No. But the main topic of this lesson is what? The Lord is raising up his men to be leaders. Yeah, well, followers. Okay? But then eventually what? You're a leader. Okay? And this is what Saul, the house of Saul, did not want that. The house of Saul was suppressive. And you got men in the truth with that same spirit. They don't want you to learn. As long as you're not learning as much as them, they're fine with that. And that's where the hatred comes and the envy comes and the jealousy comes. But as soon as you start to rise up in the spirit, you start to build in the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, now there's a problem. Because what? That's a solid spirit. And Saul had that spirit. It's afraid of what? Upcoming leaders. That's the house of Saul. But the house of David, what? They're going to be what? They're going to be what? Growing in the faith. Okay? And promoting that. See, David, he was a leader, but he was loved by Israel and Judah. Because he was leader, but it says he went in to the people and he came out to the people, with the people. He was a leader, a good leader of the people. Saul wasn't. He became tyrannical. If you're a leader, you want to build brothers up. You're going to show them everything in the truth. You're not going to say, oh no, bro, it doesn't really matter if you're lukewarm. You're not going to say that. Because if you're telling individuals that, what you're saying is the Lord's word don't matter. That's what you're saying in your psyche. So these things do matter. And they're very, very important. These things are very important. Very important. So we're being led, but we're being raised to what? To be leaders. Because there'll be a time when you're all by yourself. What are you going to do then? So with this lesson, I'm going to shut off here. Lord willing, this is edifying. Just a little food for thought. And until the next time, Shalom.